Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday live stream. Hold on. Got my days mixed around. Tuesday live stream. Today, we're going to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin miners as they are pivoting to get into artificial intelligence. We're also going to take a look at the betting markets. And I kind of figured out where retail went. They're just becoming just a bunch of degenerate gamblers. And lastly, we're going to take a look at a $3 million hack where I just got to tell you this is not the future of finance. So first things first, this article just came out. And I think people that have been investing in CleanSpark for quite some time, this is a great day for them because they are pivoting for artificial intelligence. They're not giving up Bitcoin mining per se. And I don't think that the Bitcoin miners themselves can actually become GPUs and process compute. But it's all about land, real estate, and what they can offer those individuals and companies getting into AI. So CleanSpark shares are pumping. Shares soared over 13% as far as one day. That would be yesterday after the company announced a strategic expansion into AI. To lead the initiative, the company appointed Jeffrey Thomas as Senior VP of AI Data Centers. Thomas previously led Saudi Arabia's multi-billion AI data center program as former president of AI data centers at Saudi AI company Humane. Through his career, he created over $12 billion worth of shareholder value. And the reason we're talking about this is because we have to see just why these Bitcoin miner operations are doing it. It's because in some locations, you can't be profitable as far as for Bitcoin mining. Now, I've had friends try to do mining themselves, and we can see that, that also big Bitcoin miners are kind of getting squeezed out as the bigger boys are just pretty much capitalizing and front running everybody. So when we see this happening, it makes a lot of sense because there has to be multiple streams of revenue for Bitcoin miners to make it. Anyhow, as far as CleanSpark, shareholders welcome the strategic expansion. As CleanSpark stock price over 13% on Monday. And some of the largest Bitcoin miners have announced similar strategic pivots to AI since the beginning of 2024, including Core Scientific, Hut 8, and Iris Energy. So on this channel, obviously, we're going to talk a lot about digital assets and crypto things that are going, but I want to bring to everybody's attention just what's going on in the background and how big artificial intelligence is, as we can see that people who are playing in the Bitcoin mining game are pivoting. So if you were looking for another alternative, this might be something to look into. Now, that could be a host of different things. There are a lot of different crypto projects that have pivoted or are specifically into artificial intelligence. There are other hosting types of things that we're seeing here with Core Scientific, Hut 8, and Iris. So there's a lot of different ways to play that and maybe just be as easy as this traditional stocks. Anyhow, this strategic expansion in AI actually saved the Bitcoin miners' business model as Core Scientific. I actually forgot about this. Core Scientific filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy just 3 years ago, which is 2 years before getting relisted on the NASDAQ ahead of its AI pivot. And of course, what and who pivoted with them? Well, this would be Hut 8, launches American Bitcoin mining firm backed by Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. So there's a lot of influx in cash and what they're doing with it. So when we see stuff like this, you're like, well, how is the stock actually doing? Because that's pretty good over the last year. As far as like with January, it's up over 120%, maybe 130, maybe 140. But as it opens up and tanks. But look at this. We can see here that it was $9, $9.50 or so on January 2nd. Then over 1 year, pretty good. This would be CleanSpark itself. So not a bad thing to get into it. Maybe get into it while it takes a dip, but that's for people moving forward. Anyhow, I just found it interesting that Bitcoin miners are pivoting. Now, before everybody starts to say, well, that's not good for Bitcoin itself, just because a Bitcoin miner that has a massive amount of land and power structure, because they're pivoting to AI, doesn't mean that they're going to stop mining for Bitcoin. They have a lot of area or a lot of space available, and that is what a lot of these AI companies are looking for. They're looking for space, they're looking for energy. They may have the GPUs, but they're like, hey, we need to build these places from scratch. We need to find a reliable power source. Oh, you guys already have those? Oh, you're just looking to let us sublease it or lease it, good enough. And that's essentially what they're doing in the background. So I think it's actually a good move, and we'll see how it all works out. But again, interesting play. Let's see what happens. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And then also, this was actually brought to the attention by Larry Fink. And he actually talked about how this is what you should be looking into, which is infrastructure plays. This was actually on September when he had a earnings call with stockholders. And what he said to them was the classic 60-40 portfolio, which would be stocks and bonds, get 60% to stocks, 40% in bonds, and to diversify your portfolio, which is the classic way to do it, the 60-40. And he states this may no longer fully represent true diversification. Larry thinks there's a better standard portfolio. And, when you got 13 trillion assets under management, you can see that maybe he's got something that he knows. The 50-30-20 split, high income investors already prioritize, which includes stocks, bonds, and private assets like real estate, infrastructure, and private credit. So when you have something like this with Larry Fink coming out from BlackRock going, you know what? It's not a bad idea to do stocks. It's not a bad idea to do bonds, but also you need to add on there real estate and, of course, infrastructure. This would be a perfect play for what we're talking about with artificial intelligence. Now, I personally am not a big fan of bonds, and I think that the dollar is only going to weaken over time. And if you're going to get into not treasuries, but like long-term bond holds, I mean, do you think that you're going to beat out the price of inflation? I just don't know. And to finish this up, assets that will define the future: data centers, ports, power grids. World's fastest growing private companies aren't available to most investors. They're in private markets, locked behind high walls with gates that open for the wealthiest or large market participants. And that is why Larry has come out and said that he's going to try to tokenize everything. And of course, if they're going to tokenize everything, you got to put it on some chain. It's up to you to decide what that chain actually is. But I think I got a pretty reasonable chance that it's either going to be BNB, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, one of those big ones, maybe a layer 2, but we'll see if it all plays out. So that is it for that piece. Also, if you're looking for a project that delves into artificial intelligence, I did a video over on D.A.N, which is a product called Aether. It's ranked right now like 192nd, 191st. It's super risky, but it's done quite well for me over time. But right now it's pretty low. And what they're trying to do is just maximize the amount of GPU processing that these data centers are using. Apparently, there's a big hindrance between the GPU processing the maximum amount that they could actually use, and if there's a lag or there's some type of separation between those numbers, Aether comes in, tokenizes that, sells it to somebody else, and then they can use that GPU processing speed, which is a pretty good thing for artificial intelligence. Anyhow, you can check out Aether in that video. I'll try to link in the description. And let's get into the last thing, which is where the heck happened to retail? So retail investors, I think I found what they went to, and it's just straight up gambling. Now, when meme coins came out and the greatest altcoins that were supposed to blow up that never did, I think retail got sucked into that because it was gambling. And now, as time has gone on, they realized that they were playing against the house, which were the VCs, and they got screwed over. And that's why I think they're doing stuff like this. Prediction markets over at Polymarket, it's an all-time high of $2 billion in weekly volume. So what's interesting to me is that it's not just trying to say like, okay, well, how many rate cuts are going to happen? Or when is the government going to open up? The biggest, highest volume on Polymarket was sports betting, which drove the volume at roughly half, $414 million last week, outpacing political markets at $322 million. And we can see over here, as far as sports betting, this is just one aspect to it. And I think this is where retail goes to when they want to gamble. And maybe they're not coming back because they're like, you know what, I tried to do it with meme coins and I got screwed over. And then also, I had to take a look at this. Here in the States, I don't know what you have around the world, but the big players online for gambling, Bet365, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Flutter Entertainment. And I don't know if you knew this, but FanDuel and Flutter Entertainment, they're expected to grow by billions. FanDuel expect USAE BITDA, actual earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, something else, amortization, from $500 million in 2024 to between $1 billion and $1.5 in 2025. Flutter Entertainment expects U.S. revenue to grow from $5 billion or 5.8 to almost $8 billion in 2025. So if you're looking at like where people went as far as retail, this is where they went. And they're going to these places and they're gambling because they're like, everything's stacked against me. So hopefully they can return, but I'm not going to hold my breath. And lastly, these stories that come out, I got to tell you, I can understand why also retail isn't here. It's because of stuff like this. We talked about this quickly yesterday. This is about a guy who he had a EliPal cold storage. And what he did is he lost $3 million worth of XRP because there was a function in EliPal where you could download or put your seed phrase into another aspect of it to make it into a hot wallet instead of a cold storage device. And then this guy got hacked for $3 million. And apparently it was his entire retirement. So I'm just going to say like this, like, and then we'll get into Q&A. All these things that are happening with these scams and with what's going on with specific exchanges, which it looks like they're pretty much responsible for that massive liquidation as people were doing leverage trades. Like our whole market on that side is a cesspool, and I want to get out of it. And the only thing that really seems to be doing well, and I'll be damned if the Bitcoin maxis weren't right, is that Bitcoin and just getting into that has proven to be very agreeable than what's going on in the background with this other stuff. Very simple. You buy some Bitcoin, you put it on a cold storage device, and that's pretty much it. All the rest of the stuff that's out there is just is not the ideal. And unfortunately, the centralized exchanges, I think, are in the middle of it. So that's what we have for today. Let me know what you think about that, and let's just go into and roll into a little Q&A, and we'll go from there. Also, actually, before we move on, that story that we just took a look at, where that guy gets, got hacked for $3 million. Does anybody use an EliPal? Just curious. Drizzt says he had the cold and hot versions of EliPal. He saved the seed phrase in the hot wallet, and it got hacked. See, this is just like, people say, what a moron, he should have known. Look at this guy. You think this is the guy that's like super savvy tech person? Or did he just hear about, hey, number go up? And then no one else followed up with them to explain that, hey, you shouldn't do those things. Like, this is the dumbest thing of why like EliPal would actually even allow that to happen. But at the end of the day, you have to take accountability, and that's on him, unfortunately. Anyhow, I don't use EliPal. Smartest XRP holder. The last news is my favorite third-tier influencer. I'll take it. Too unemployable. I see. It says, what do you think about Cake's potential? After stuff like that, I don't really see like, I can't really get into any potential for anything. It just seems like, because, I mean, how many of these different products that are out there? I mean, like, are we talking about Cake, like Pancake Swap? I mean, that has some function and utility, but like, how much volume is really going on there, and how well can it possibly do? Let's see. Mullet says, putting all your eggs in one basket never works, except for the fox. Yeah, exactly. And then who here, just a quick question, who here has an X account? Let me know in the comment section. I don't know why I wouldn't just chill with a top cold wallet. I don't know either. I think that's it. No, okay. Smart money track. It's guilty. Of course you are, Wes. I follow you. I know you do. Master Blaster, Miguel. Who here wants a Tangem wallet and has an X account? It's not going to be TC10. Simon says me. Okay, this is the first one here. Congratulations, Ron and Eric. You guys just won a Tangem wallet. So Ron Jr., I need you to put your handle in right now as fast as possible. Eric, I need you to do the same thing. Put your Twitter handle in so I can follow up with you. And it's not like I can ask you for your address here. All right. Ron. Okay. At Eric Petey. I probably didn't say that right. Congrats at there's got to be a better way to do this. Eric Piedy1. Not what I was looking for. Okay. Eric, is that you? Piedy1. It looks like it. Ron Jr., I'm waiting for you. CTT. All right. Ronnie L. Hey. RONNIE. Oh, yeah. Ronnie Skinner? Ronnie, is that you? There's Nick. Let's see. No, not me. Okay. So what's your handle? Are you running for Governor Ron DeSantis? This is giving me an aneurysm. Let's see. Well, Ronnie, at Ronnie L. Gigi says, is this market dead? You're the only person I go to gauge what's happening. It's not dead, it's just in a lull. And it's very boring. That's why we're giving away stuff today. And okay. 1 second. All right. Ron Jr. Well, great. How about this, Ron? If you follow me on the workout group, then just message me there, because I don't see this. All right. All right, everybody. What else? What other questions do you have? Congratulations for winning a TANGEM wallet. Ta-da. And that's it for that. Finally caught the live show. Yeah, not the greatest show today. I gotta tell you, I'm all over the place. Gold is down 5% today. Oh, you know what else I learned about gold yesterday? I didn't know this. Apparently, you know how we complain about spreads on the exchanges and how they're just a ripoff and everything else? Have you seen the spreads on gold? Just do a quick search. Usually it's between like 3 to 5%. So if you buy, like that's how all stores are. Like 3 to 5% is what they're going to do. So whatever you buy gold, a troy ounce, you buy silver, it's any precious metal actually, they're going to take 3 to 5%, and that is their spread, and that's how they generate revenue. So I know, like when we complain about the spreads of like say like Coinbase, something like that, like over 1%, what is highway robbery? Not as bad as gold, I'll tell you that. So I know people are excited about gold and it goes up, but you know who should be more excited is everybody that actually owns a shop that sells and buys gold. They're probably loving this. Let's see. Silver is down 7%. Yeah. Coin is the same when you buy Bitcoin. Exactly. Chris says, see, I don't trade or do much with gold. I just have it and hold it. Gold premiums go crazy when there's a lot of buying, like right now. Coinbase. Oh. Coinbase is going offline for 4 hours on the 25th. Well, that's good of them to show us or tell us that now. I love it too. Like, I just don't understand, like when people make things so complex, like especially like seed phrases and putting them all in, and then doing decentralized finance farming, and then moving things from here to there. And it sounds great, to do that. But I think a lot of people, I think the majority of people don't want that. They just want something very simple. And I think from now on, when people ask me about like Bitcoin and such, I'm just going to tell them, you know what, just buy a spot ETF. And that way I don't have to ever hear about like, hey, remember that Bitcoin you told me to buy, or I got into altcoins or whatever else? Yeah, well, I downloaded it to a wallet and it got hacked. So that's on you because you didn't tell me. From now on, everybody that normally people that ask me, just buy a spot ETF and leave me the F alone. That would be it. Let's see. Bill says, I want the TANGEM and the seed as a backup. Seed phrase makes me feel warm and fuzzy because I've had to use one to recover a wallet before. That's the great thing about TANGEM, is that you can either extract the seed phrase and write it down like what we're used to, use it in some random slip of paper that you hopefully protect quite well, or you just allow the seed phrase to essentially be embedded in the 3 cards and leave them there. They are in your possession physically, and that's what I do. I haven't written down a seed phrase in I don't know how long. I've got multiple TANGEMs. And people say, well, aren't you worried about if someone picks up your card somewhere? First of all, I don't just leave random cards around. And second of all, why would you bring your TANGEM card, pretty much anywhere, if you have like your life savings or a big chunk of money? That's dumb. And the third thing is, no, I could, if I did something stupid and took my TANGEM card and I dropped it on the beach or something like that. Someone picks up the cards like, ooh, this looks like a TANGEM card, and they actually know what that is. Then they have to download the app, and then they have to get through facial ID recognition, or they have to figure out my PIN. So that's that. And then, of course, that's not going to happen. So I'm okay with, I could just throw my TANGEM card to somebody on the street and go, here, good luck. They won't be able to get my crypto. Now, if I threw 2 at them, yes, because then they can actually back things up and reset the code and everything else. But for them to get 2 cards, yeah, right. So I have no problems. And then people say, well, what if you dropped your phone and you had your TANGEM card in there? I still don't care. Because even if they're able to, like, they have the app there, they scan the app, they want to move it to their wallet, they can't get into the app because they don't have facial recognition and they don't have my PIN. So that's it. Oh, I see you says 29th of October, rates cut. 31st of October, Trump's meeting Xi Jinping. November will be the best month in 2025. That would line up pretty crazy with the cycles. Yeah, Bill says, you're 100% right. Go buy an ETF. Just go buy an ETF. It's so much faster. Well, it's not faster, I shouldn't say that. It's much easier. Yeah. Ray says, Rob, maybe the stories are all BS, like the saying, all publicity is good publicity or something like that. Maybe, but it's not good publicity for EliPal, I'll tell you that. And then here's another thing. Like, I get requests to review hard or cold storage devices like weekly. Some new startup or some other ones that's been around. And I just will not review anymore. I've got a Ledger, I got a TANGEM, both have worked, none have screwed me over so far, so I'm just gonna stick with that. Ed says, don't you need to steal from Ben's site, perhaps social indicators? Nah, social indicators always suck. There's nothing going on. Yeah. I like that. STONEBOOK is key. Ooh, man, we went a little bit too long. This is 27 minutes. This is supposed to be a quick session, sorry. So the idea is to do an early video just to kind of get what's going on in the markets. And later tonight, we'll do a more in-depth one. But that's it for today. So look, everybody, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. But thanks, everybody. Again, I still say that Q4 is going to be great. Look to November and December. I think things will be just fine. Adios.